Are you wondering why can't you kill your targets easily despite using the pro builds, even though you have seen those pro players dominate the enemy tanks completely? But when you decided to copy their builds and try to use them in real game, you always end up having the enemy low enough to escape. And sometimes you feel your damage still lags a lot and you can't even lower the target's HP to 50%. Worry not, because in this video, I will let you know what pros never tell you about itemization. After watching this video, you will definitely increase your chances of getting those kills where your enemy run away at about 1 HP. The secret to all of this is none other than penetration. Before we dive into the concept of penetration, it is important to know how the damage output is calculated in Mobile Legends. To avoid any misunderstanding that claim I have come up with random numbers, let me show you some evidence using Sylvana. Sylvana is a hero whose passive reduces the target's hybrid defense. By clicking the note button in the passive description, you will notice how much the actual damage your target will take after both penetration and defense are calculated. And as you can see, the formula of actual damage taken is 120 over 120 plus the defense you have. Although penetration isn't clearly stated here, it is safe for us to assume that each point of penetration will ignore 1 point of your defense. Also, in Mobile Legends, percentage penetration is calculated first before the flat point penetration is calculated. Therefore, we can further derive the formula as this. Okay, so why do we need to know this formula? The point is, I want to show you that penetration is way more valuable than raw attack power. Based on the graph that we can obtain from the formula above, we can see that your damage will increase by a certain percentage as your target's defense is lowered down. And in the early game, most of your enemies have low defense and less gold. You will need tons of gold to get items which can increase your physical attack or magic power by a lot, such as Blade of Despair or Holy Crystal. On the other hand, penetration items are way cheaper, and that means it's better to obtain them early on. Eventually, we need to get both attack points and penetration, but what matters the most is your early game domination, especially against your lane counterpart in the early game. And what I'm going to say next will probably surprise you. Do you know that getting Blade of Despair early on will not deal higher damage than penetration items? Let's check out a few experiment clips featuring Beatrix. When using Renner, Beatrix with penetration will deal higher damage compared to the one with BOD, even before Heptasis damage is taken into consideration. Now, we'll look at Wesker. Again, the one with penetration dealt way higher damage. Now let's look at everyone's favorite, Nibiru. Obviously, the damage of the one on the right is way more noticeable. Finally, Bennett. And once again, the one on the right one. What I want to point out is that the penetration build allows you to do decent damage from early to mid game, and if your early game is good, you will be able to farm your ultimate attack item easily as well. Most importantly, it is seriously cost effective to get penetration items first. However, don't get me wrong, this is only applicable for burst heroes, which is why I'm using Beatrix as an example. You may apply the same concept on other assassins or fighters such as Natalia or Paquito, but not other DPS MM like Moskov or Melissa. Probably only a few MM can benefit from this type of early game build, but most of them are still really dependent on a critical or tight speed build. I hope you learned something new from this video. Feel free to try it out on other burst heroes, add up with Malefic Roll and Sea Halberd, you will make the tanks cry. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm Mel. See you in my next video.